You're welcome to the E.B.U.N Show, a talk show for women and the men who love them. On this episode, we're going into a topic that touches almost every African woman, whether she admits it or not. We grew up hearing that men are the heads of the home, men are protectors and providers. Truly, many of them are. But what happens when the woman becomes the main financial pillar? When she is the one paying the school fees, covering the house rent, and holding the family together, yet she still has to shrink herself publicly because of what culture expects of her. Many African women are successful, highly successful, but will say, it's God though, truly it's God. Or they will say, it's my husband though, or it's grace, even when they are the one carrying most of the weight. So today we're unmasking the tension between money, submission, and marriage. Is submission about who earns more? Or is money automatically power? And why do so many women hide their own achievements to protect the man's ego or the family image? Sitting with me today is Evie Jesumuiwa, the creative director of E.B.U.N, one of the leading brideswear institution in Nigeria. And together, we're going to talk honestly, softly, and deeply without judgment about who really is in control behind doors. Sis, this conversation might sting a little, but it will also set some people free. You're welcome on the show. Hi, Evie.
Hi, EBUN.
You're welcome on the E.B.U.N Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. You're not shy now.
I am actually.
You used
shy.
to be.
I still am. I just do what I need to do when occasion calls for it, but I still am shy.
So you still feel like, I don't have to do this?
Every single time. Like, why do I have to do this?
You don't have a choice. Exactly. But I actually thought you had overcome it with your recent posts online on social media.
I say I'm getting better at it, at public speaking. I'm getting better at it. But still, every single time I have to face a camera or face people and talk, there's still that anxiety, like, oh my God, can I do this? But, you have to, and you get better as time goes by.
Anyway, you're not facing people, you're facing me.
So, but there are cameras, so, but I'm fine.
So first off, let's talk about what your thoughts are about money and African marriages. Where it concerns the African woman when she has a lot of money and marriage. What really comes to mind?
Okay, so in my head, what comes to mind? Africa, money, women, and marriage. It's more like what I believe is that the man is the provider. That's how I was brought up in my family. My dad was the one that provided literally everything. Even if my mom should spend her money buying food or clothes, she'll stylishly get her money back from my dad. So that's the mindset I've always had about how it should be. But things are changing. You get, life is not as one way as it used to be. Men are no longer going to the farm while the women are staying at home. Women are now working hard, just as the men are working, and things are getting more expensive. So I think now it has shifted from only the man handling everything to, both of you putting something on the table. My father was a provider. I grew up that way too. And of course, you hear people say it. It's the father, it's the... But later, even dad told me that there were times he stole mom's money because mom was doing well, borrowed money. So it wasn't as if they didn't have money. My mom was running a big canteen, and it was when I grew up that they will now tell you adult talks like that. Sometimes I go to the market and I just buy something for the whole, not just for her children and her husband, extended family members that were living with us and all of that. So women have always been let's get back. That's why I said I didn't want to deviate. Why do you think African women hide their financial contributions when they're carrying the family? Why do you think they hide it? Yes. It's because of how, our community has already programmed us to think, right? If you're providing so much as a woman, you are not supposed to show it because it makes you feel, or people would look at you like, okay, your husband is not responsible, and you don't want to show your husband in that light, right?
As being irresponsible.
Yes, I think it's better to just balance it out, and behind the scenes, you guys work towards, each person becoming very, very stable financially. Do you understand? Till you get to that point where you can now boldly say, oh, my husband does this, my husband does that, and all of that. So it's just the fact that you don't want to put any form of shame to your family that I think would make people hide it when they are the ones in charge. Yeah, but I think it's temporary. If you guys choose to work behind the scenes to make each person very dependent, yeah, then you get to the point where you can both brag.
But is it sustainable, especially in years to come, what to hand over to children? You know, yes, men, the provider, even in religion, that is what we see.
Yeah.
Christ, the comparison of the husband to Christ as the head of the church, who even dies for the church, right? So the man is supposed to take that burden, that responsibility. But then there was a time that my children came back from school. And in social studies, I see the roles of the members of the family. The father provides, and the mother cooks and takes care of them. I wrote back in the notes. I wrote it like, do we really want to pass that down?
Okay, so the fact that, first of all, we're mostly Christians, like those of us doing this right now, we're Christians, and the Bible cannot change. It's permanent. And then if we're making reference to what is in the Bible, you know, Jesus is the head after the husband. And so that part, I don't think it can change forever. So that's why social studies will still teach it. But based on how we are moving, you know, as a world entirely, the way we are moving and shifting things, I'm sure it would still change a bit. But it will always be there. I think it will always be there that, okay, yes, the man should be the provider, while, you know, the woman is there to support and help. But it will get more balanced as time goes on. But the fact that the Bible cannot change and we're Christians, that part will still always be there.
Does earning more automatically make a woman less submissive? Or is that something society created to keep women quiet?
I don't think earning more would make someone less submissive. I think it's a matter of who you are, your personality, how you were brought up, your belief, and all of that. Because there are women that are most likely broke that are still not submissive. So I don't think it's about money. I think it's about, you know, your personal traits and all of that. So personally, right, I've been training myself or learning to be more submissive. Now, it's not because of, I'm making money or anything like that. It's because I am naturally an independent person, like by nature. And funny enough, I was born on the 1st of October. So they used to call me Miss Independent growing up. So, and I think maybe because I also run a business, and it's a sole proprietorship. So I make all the decisions myself. At work, I call the shots, right? Even though they do other things. So sometimes I tend to bring that mindset to my house. I want to do something and I forget that I'm supposed to run it through my husband before I go ahead and do it. And I'm just like, and he's looking at me like, do you understand? So I'm reminding myself, I'm learning that, okay, Evie, whatever it is you want to do, if it's at work, yes, fine, you can go on. But even some things relating to work, you can actually run it by your husband before you do it. So I'm learning to be more submissive altogether. I won't say I'm fully there yet, but I'm a lot better than when we first got married.
So if the man is the head, but the woman is the breadwinner, who is really in control emotionally, financially, or spiritually?
Okay, so if a woman is earning more, emotionally, I feel she is still in control, because when it comes to emotions, we are the ones that are like 100 all the time. But even if you're earning more, I just really believe it's temporary, right? If you guys work towards it, if he's also serious about what he's doing and, you know, putting in all the efforts, eventually he can match up and even earn more than you. You understand? So at that early phase, you should just, you know, humble yourself, because anything can happen.
See, this thing, my husband has said it like twice on 2 different platforms. Especially our family dynamics.
Okay.
At this point, so it says, you better be careful how you treat the other person. When it looks like God is answering you, you know, when you're earning more, because in a couple of years,
you can switch.
It can switch. And that does not mean you lose whatever you have now. It just means the other person just, not even in a way you understand, it just goes up and you're wondering.
And you are even always praying for your partner, right, to do well. So eventually God answers your prayers. And so you have to.
And you have done all the misbehaviors in the past. And now
If you don't want karma, just, just be humble and everything. And as time goes on, you guys match up, or even though he exceeds you and all of that. So control should still always be, when it comes to finance and all of that, should always be with the husband, right? I'm not a feminist in that line that, oh, you have to do this. No, I think he should be in control.
So when you say the man should be in control, irrespective of if the woman earns more, does it mean when you get your money, for instance, if you're a salary earner, you give everything to the husband?
I don't understand that one. I don't think it makes sense.
No, so why is it you see, I've heard all sorts of preaching. One, I'll look for that clip.
Yeah.
Where the woman was saying that you earn more than your husband, and you earn your salary, you cannot give. Matter of fact, when she was working, her husband's account was the salary.
Mommy, I have a question. Okay, go ahead with your question. I'm a salary earner and I earn more than my husband. So I earn 100,000. How much am I supposed to be giving my husband? Thank you very much for that question. You are a salary earner. You earn more than your husband. You earn 100K every month. Your husband earns 80K every month. As a virtuous wife, all your salary belongs to your husband. As a virtuous, the moment, see, your salary account should be your husband's account. Change your salary account to your husband's account. Your husband should be the one receiving your salary. See, your husband, you are your husband's property. You don't know? Don't try it again, madam.
That one is a lie. How will a company pay some? People just use their platform to say all sorts. But I mean, this particular person was trying to push the agenda of, if you really want to be submissive to your husband, give everything. Is that what you mean by control?
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, you guys should make those decisions together. You should communicate those. You can be open enough to let him know what you earn, right? If he has, a good self-esteem and it won't affect anything about him, his ego or anything, you can be open to let him know what you earn. And you guys make decisions on how you can manage that to, hold the family in till everything is okay. The spirituality.
Who is in control?
Control spiritually, I think it should still be the man. Right? Even though as women, we're more emotional when it comes to praying for the family, praying for your children. We're more sensitive in a way to things going on and all. So you give your best, give your all. But I think spiritually, it should be the man because he's the one leading you. So it has to be deep spiritually to know, okay, this is what God is saying for our family. This is what we should be doing right now, and so on and so forth. So I think the man should be in control. So you were talking about the woman that made a clip and said you should give your account or your money to your husband after you've gotten everything. So I think it's different folks for different strokes. What works in one family may not work in the
different
other.
Strokes for different folks.
So even though it sounds very funny, like why would I tell my husband, give him all the money and all, it may work in another family.
True.
So I think you should just do what works for your family. If that's what works, if it's a matter of you giving your money to your husband, it depends on the kind of person he is also, right? If you're probably careless with money and he's prudent, it makes total sense to do that. So it depends on your, every relationship is unique.
True.
So just do what
because
works.
You can't say you use the same ruler and measurement for everything.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. However, it goes to say that you cannot apply everything you hear, especially if it is not written in maybe the Bible, if you're a Christian or your religious book, because it depends on the type of man. Don't come and start crying years later, because some women are pressured to do this when the man is not. I have an experience of somebody very close who. So it was a situation of this man thinks the lady comes to tell our family everything, but the lady does not. Even the family didn't know it was the woman that was bearing most of the financial burden. But the man just had this perception that she was...
That's the self-esteem.
Do you understand? So the man comes to say, even to the family, I know she would have told you, like, we had no idea. Do you understand? And then they give this man money. He first sorts himself with clothes he doesn't need.
That kind of man, you can't give him your money. You can't even be transparent to that.
You can't even be transparent to that kind of man.
Yeah.
So read the room.
Yes,
look at the situation you're in.
Check yourselves and know, okay, yes, this can work in our family, this can't work. It's not what works for someone else that will necessarily work for you.
True.
Yeah.
So do you think that some men feel threatened when women earn more? Or do women sometimes shrink themselves to protect their family? Let's scratch that second one.
Okay.
Do you think some men are threatened when women earn more?
Definitely, because they are human. Even forgetting men and women all together, if somebody has something that you don't have, that you want to have, there will be that little bit of envy or jealousy. So it's almost normal, right? It just takes a lot of intentionality from the part of the woman. So you know, okay, you're earning more. You should be a bit more discreet. You don't have to then come and say, if you notice it is threatening him and it's changing maybe his behavior and it's not making him even relate with you as he should, I think you should be discreet enough to hide some of those things. You don't have to let him know all of it. That, oh, this, I just got
Would
this
it not be
yesterday.
a sin to hide?
No, it's not. You're not hiding anything bad. You know, you're protecting him. You're protecting his ego till he gets to that point where you can now both share equal testimonies, right? But if you have like a major, oh, someone just sent me 100 million, I just got a contract, it's good to share the contract. Maybe you don't share the exact figure, right? But, you know, tone it down a bit. Don't be all out there and be humble. That's the time you now start buying everything for yourself. Except, do you understand? Even buying for him at that point can still threaten him. So you just have to mellow yourself down because he's human. Even you would almost do the same thing. Except for the fact that, okay, a lot of women just like to chill. They don't like to work and stuff. But, okay, no, scratch. You
Women might not have, because soft life, my man has money, you know.
So we like that. So we might not feel threatened. But the other way is human. It can get to him at some point. So you have to be wise enough to manage it in the meantime. Yeah.
All right. What does healthy submission look like in a modern marriage where the woman is financially stronger?
Okay, so I'd say healthy submission is ensuring that your husband is fully involved in many things or every area of your life. For example, decision making about the home, about the children, about even where you live, about your trips. Because you can afford all these things doesn't mean you should just go out and do it without carrying him along, letting him know.
So you have done it and you are just coming to tell him.
No, that would be very, very hurtful to him. That would be very, very hurtful. So you have to, I'd give an example, right? So this one, I wrote a small book, not the main book that everyone knows about. I wrote a book, and because, like I said, I'm quite independent. So when something comes to me, I just do it. So the book came to me as a revelation in the night, right? It's Peacock. It's for Purposeful Pieces Outreach I do. So I just woke up, and in like 1 week, I'd written the book. Right? Or I think it was even a bit less than that. I'd written it. And because, like I said, in business, I just do everything all by myself. Do you know, I didn't remember to tell my husband I was writing a book. Now, to me, I felt like it was almost like a leaflet. Like it's a very small, like 10 pages book. So it wasn't a big deal. That's why I didn't say, oh, there's something that was revealed to me I'm working on and this. I didn't share with him. And I found out that he was actually pained by the time I'd started printing the book. And at first I was like, why is he pained? But then I now reasoned that, okay, honestly, what you did, if you were actually a fully submissive person, you would have mentioned it to him. You would have even probably sought approval. Do you understand? You probably would have said, okay, what do you think about this? So I think if you're going to be fully submissive in a modern marriage, it means carrying him along, you know, even listening to his opinions about everything. He should be able to make the main decisions. When it's small, then you can be the one to handle it. But if it's main decision like, okay, where should we live? Do you want to relocate? All those kind of major decisions should really, really center around, you know, the head of the home. And then you support, you chip in your ideas and so on.
Now let's talk about situations where you're married, you want to be submissive, and you are submissive.
Okay.
However, the man is not just having it. You know, you still try to tone things down. He finds out, he tries to check everything, is after the account, bank account. Maybe he finds out and he's angry. Oh, why didn't you tell me you had this much? You told me it was this amount. And what can such a woman do?
I think you should seek counseling at that point, prayer and counseling. Because if you say you're actually trying, you're making those efforts to be more submissive, first off, check it. Am I actually truly very submissive now, or do I need to do better? Check it, right? And do better. But if you are actually, according to the books, being as submissive as possible, and he's over the top, being dramatic and everything, then you should seek further assistance, either by praying, you know, God answers our prayers and can touch his heart and just change him. Or you go for a counseling, you know, with a third party and a neutral person that can look into the issues and then check him hopefully it's someone that will listen to that, but work towards it. If he's saying something, some of these things that our spouses tell us that we might feel is not right, if you listen thoroughly, you realize that he's actually making sense, right? So check it and be sure you're doing your part. If you're not, then if you are, then you can seek counseling if it's still something like that.
You're listening to us and you want to tell us your story. Do not forget, letter to EBUN. Share with us, have you had an issue in this light, in this direction, where you earn more and there was a bit of an issue in your family, or you know of someone? Just tell us anything, pour out your heart. It's a very anonymous space. You don't have to mention your name. We'll read out these stories on social media platforms and react to them. Now, I want you to speak to a woman who is not married yet, but very ambitious, right? Who wants to settle down in marriage and is already seeing these flashlights of you're too proud. You're too, some men play such cards even cases of you have to step down. You have to maybe take a lesser role. If the person is a career woman or a business person, they have to say, oh, maybe you get a shop around the house. Such a lady is beginning to hear such things from men. What's your advice to that person?
So my advice would be that you should get married to someone that would help you fulfill your destiny at the end of the day, right? You shouldn't overdo it, because based on our culture, you're the woman, you should care for the home and, just care for your husband and everything. So that should be at the back of your mind, right? Your ambition should still not be ruined. So if you need to check that the man has a good self-esteem and has plans for himself also and for the family, right? So if he has plans for himself, he has a good self-esteem, I don't think he'll be bothered by you doing well. So you have to check to see if there are signs. If there are signs that this man is going to make me kill everything I want to do and get this shop, that honestly may not be the man for you. Because I don't think that's how it should be. What if anything happens to his own career? Who is going to, sustain the family? I
was going to say, maybe you should just go and settle for somebody who is doing better than you.
Exactly. There's
that. You have money, go and look for somebody that has more money. But anything can happen along the line.
Yes, exactly. So if you don't find, because at the end of the day, they also say if you see a man that's looking to mate, someone else has probably made him. So if you don't find someone that's all rosy and stuff, just check that it doesn't have that self-esteem issue. It's not going to tone down what you're doing, even though there has to be a balance. As a woman, you have to be able to strike a balance between your work life and your home life, your personal life and all of that. So if he's the kind of person that will not kill your dreams, then you can definitely go ahead. But if it's looking like this one is going to change my life entirely, I don't think that's the person for you.
Thank you so much, Evie, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
At the end of the day, money is not necessarily power. Money also is not necessarily pride. It just depends on who you are, your personality. If you really are a submissive person, because submission will show even in other things. Do you listen to other people? Do you take other people's opinion? Even if you're the boss, do you sometimes say,
staff give you
suggest something to you?
Exactly.
So it is beyond, although we're talking about the home, but it is beyond the home. And truth be told, you cannot be up there with your shoulders up there and you want to run a home. Even if the man is humble, it takes you bringing yourself down. Everybody wants to feel honored and respected, even women, not to talk about men alone, right? So which one do you want? Do you want to hold on to your money, or you want to have a marriage or have a home? So let's just define it. And that will be it. You know what to do. If this matter touches you, we'll meet you in the comment section. Thank you for staying the time with us. Bye. We have a gift for you.
Thank you. My December just started.
This is from Mary Alma. Mary Alma is from Shemilori and Momori.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they make home decors, scented candles, and diffusers.
It's so pretty. And it's white. I love white.
Yeah, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.